Bismillah, Assalamualaikum. This is once again feedback from the students. This is at the end of week 9. So we have finished 9 weeks out of the 14 weeks of lecture. We also have already covered the midterm. So this is the feedback for week number 9. And we have only several feedbacks for this week. Perhaps some hangover from the midterm is there. But anyways, as usual, I'll just cover the feedback, and hopefully I can remind myself of things that I should improve on or take note of, etc. So this will be the first feedback. Sir, you are the best, because if any question that came to mind, you exactly answer after I wondering the answer. For example, you explain on why for mass we have to convert to m, and when we find the x wave, we can use both or m. Thank you. I believe this is with respect to integration for, is it integration or composite for finding the centroid? I'm assuming, right? But anyway, there's nothing for me to comment here except for thank you for the feedback. I'm happy to see or to know that it is helpful. I'm guessing that because I'm not sure what exactly is this portion about, but I'm assuming that I can anticipate certain question, and hence when doing the lecture video I just address it. I'm assuming that is the case. Anyway, next we have this comment. I suggest for every tutorial questions given in Google Classroom should be given answers only for every question, so that we will be confident of our answers and steps, because sometimes in the tutorial video the answers are not given as you only show the steps. I'm assuming this is with regard to the tutorial video. I might be wrong. I'm not sure if this is about quizzes, but I'm assuming this is about tutorial, because in the later part of this comment it states about the tutorial video. And yes, in tutorial video I mainly focus on the steps, because my concern is the steps. And the mark distribution for any assessment that I do is basically distributed along throughout the steps. If you just straight away jump to the answer, or if you have the right number of the answer but the steps are missing, you will miss all the marks. And in terms of learning, my concern is mainly on the steps and in the methodology. And as well, most of my tutorial video is very ad hoc. When I have to record it, it is in the middle of midnight. I have a deadline to catch where the student need to watch next day, etc. So I have to push it through. I didn't manage to solve properly on paper before I do the video, so I do it ad hoc, meaning I just see the question, answer straight away. So that's why it focus on the steps, and in some instances maybe some mistakes do actually happen. If you have looked at some of the tutorial videos, in the comments some students noted that certain mistakes happen, right? So that happened because it's done like that. But the steps are the main thing that I want to illustrate. Now, for the suggestion about just give the final answer so that the student can just try on their own and see whether the answer match. Now, for this, I didn't realize that I need to give this, because in the textbook you also already have hundreds of questions, where at the back it is given the final answer. So you can try any question, all the questions in the textbook, and all the answers are there for you to just see whether the final answer that you get match with the final answer given at the back of the book. So that is available. So I'm not sure why is there any need for additional question in that format. What I do is the lecture video is more on, because some students even if there's a lot of question in the textbook and the final answer is given, but they are lacking of the methodology or the steps. Hence, I highlighted or emphasized on those. For those who just they understand all the steps and the methodology, they just want to see whether they made any mistakes. I think the questions in the textbook, there are a lot in there already, and it is more than sufficient, I think. Yeah, so hopefully you can have, I assume you have the textbook, but if you don't have, you can find a textbook either from your friends, or I think in the society, the engineering society, perhaps they have seniors textbook, etc. I'm not sure. You can check those out to get a copy of the textbook, because there's a lot of questions there already available, and the answer as well. So please try to do that. And this is the final feedback from this week classes. Assalamualaikum wa salam. For the next time quiz, could you please mention which chapter for the quiz? Because I thought the quiz 13 is 9.1, but the quiz come out 9.2. Because you mentioned it's 9.1, sir. Sorry if it is, that is my mistake. Okay. Several things. First of all, I'm sorry if there's a confusion that is due to my mistake. That's number one. Number two, I think from the very beginning, the structure that we have is because I've put the schedule for what will be covered, and we also have make it clear from the very beginning of the semester that the quiz will be based on what is covered on that day. So this comment is given when we are covering 9.2, so the quiz will be 9.2. I think the confusion here is because most students did not want to take 9.1 quiz in the previous class, because it's just, I think, right, either just after midterm or on the day of the midterm, right? So most students want to focus on the midterm. Only I think 3 students that take 9.1, so I just give them the quiz for 9.1 on that day, and afterwards in this particular class we give quiz 9.2. I'm not sure about if I mentioned that we will have quiz 9.1. I think in the beginning of the session I did mention in the briefing that which quiz we will cover, as well as some students actually did ask which part will be covered in the quiz, and I think I mentioned. Yeah, I'm not sure if I make any mistake in when I meant to say 9.2, somehow it comes out 9.1. I'm not sure if that is the case. But if that is the case, I may be able to check, or you can check in the recording of the class session if that is the case. But from now on, I think it is, meaning this is from the beginning and until the end. It will not change. That we will have the quiz according to the schedule that is posted at the very beginning of the semester. We have never deviated from the schedule so far, right? So the quiz will be exactly according to the schedule. If we skip any quiz, we'll just skip, meaning that we will not replace it or bring it forward. We'll just skip. So that's how we implement so far and until the end, inshallah. So that's the case. Hopefully there will be no further confusion. So that's it for the feedback from the students from this week. I hope, of course, I have returned all the midterm. Hopefully you have received that, all the midterm papers, answers, and of course your marks. Yeah, and I think after this I will do a video with regard to the midterm and some observation, I guess. So until then, all the best. Wallahu alam.